Hey everyone, I'm just here to tell the progress and some new features of the Neo3-Privatenet-Docker. So for those who don't know about this repository in the XLabs org, so this is basically a Docker images for running a Neo and 3 private network in we say in record time because it's super easy to do. It's based on a Docker Compose file and a set of like containers, so it's pretty much convenient to do it. And recently we added support for oracles. So actually you can run your private net, including private oracles controlled by you, that you can deploy your smart contracts, test the oracle requests, and yeah, things just work. So basically here, what I'll demonstrate is how to bootstrap a private net Docker only for you, just for you, and then try to use this oracle feature, okay? Good. So for this, just come here to the Neo3-Privatenet-Docker repo, click on code, and let's use the GitHub code spaces for this. Even the free version, it's fine for us. It takes a little bit longer, but it's fine. We can create here a code spaces in the master. So yeah, once you click on it, you will see things getting bootstrapped. Yeah, as you can see, you can click here in building codes pace, and you'll see some logs. Of course, as I mentioned, this is like a private environment only for you, and GitHub should pull all the images and things and start to set up it. So it takes a bit of time. Yeah, that's good. So as you can see here, it's that it starts when the dev container gets ready. We automatically bootstrap this Docker Compose file here. So basically, this Docker Compose has three main nodes that compose the network: the new consensus, the new client one, and the new client two. Okay, so and then you have the new Go CLI, but this is like a container that doesn't join the network. It's just like for supporting, like tasks, to set up the oracles and to distribute some assets to some test wallets, etc., etc. So you don't have like to take a look on this. But if you take a look at like a new consensus, it uses you can see like everything, the configuration and the config files, etc., etc. And it's worth noting that each of the nodes exposes like a port. This one is a 4332, and also the new client one exposes the 10332 port, and the client two is 20332. Okay, good. So basically here, as you can see, you can, while it's this compose up gets it's being running, you can use the command Control Shift P in view creation logs, view creation logs to see what's happening. It's still downloading the images, but I think like now, yes, now the containers will, yeah, they're getting started. Yes, the containers were created. That's good. And now the new Go CLI is basically setting up some more things like invoking the role management contract and to designate some Oracle, some public keys for oracles, etc., etc. It waits here a bit until this is done. Yes, for example, here is the transaction that got submitted, and then the state is halt. It was successful, this thing, and then now the script is just spamming some addresses with plenty of gas and plenty of neo, and also here it is, it's halt. So yeah, that's it. It completed. So okay, so Docker Compose is running now. You don't have to do anything. You just like wait to things for things to get set up. So actually here it's worth noticing that there is this pane called ports. And in here you see that are the three nodes that compose this private network. And each of them has its own port. So what I'm going to do here is that we cannot do this automatically for you. This is like policies of GitHub, but you can click on it, right click, and then change the port visibility to public. What this will do basically is that this address here will be forwarded to the container running this GitHub code spaces. And then you can interact to the new consensus or client one or two, whatever you want, to request some JSON RPC methods or to and do this. So what it could do to test a bit is to go on the left side. There's HTTP folder, and then you have like client HTTP file. Um, and here, actually, you can yeah, you can submit some requests just to see if the network is running fine. So, for example, in this one, is just get the block count on the consensus. When you click on it, you'll see on the right side result 11. So it's good. It's working. So also you can, for example, open the wallet on the consensus node. It's not a good idea, but just for tests is fine. And then actually you can also list all the addresses in the consensus node. Yes, there we go. You can check like the balance as well. Have like plenty of balance, etc. So yeah, things are working great. But then you might ask yourself, okay, Gil, it's running. I can even interact publicly from public, from my computer and ask submit JSON RPC calls to the new consensus, etc. But how do I interact with the oracles? Okay, cool. So in order to do that, I suggest that you just go to this repo here called neo3j/neo3j examples Java. This also has a code spaces like dev containers enabled, so you can go here and create a code space on it. And this repo contains many examples on smart contracts that use the Oracle feature and how to deploy, how to compile the contracts, how to deploy, how to interact with them. So everything is there. So this repo here, it takes a bit of time to get everything bootstrapped. So yeah, let's wait a bit. There we go. So the container now it's getting bootstrapped. It's important to highlight that as you can see on your left side, there's like the Git icon of VS Code and also the marketplace extension. There's like this timer kind of icon. So it means that it's not yet ready. So they're installing GitHub Code Spaces, installing all the extensions for us and configuring, etc., etc. So you have to wait a bit until everything is properly set up. If you want, you can even click on it, just to see what is getting installed. It's installing C# IntelliCode, and language support for Java, which is important for us here. But let me explain you already how the repo looks like. So on your left side, you have the source directory. You can go on it, and then you have also the Java folders. And then you have here two folders. One is contract development, where all the smart contracts are, and then contract invoke, where how to interact with the contracts, right? So actually, it's important to highlight that here on, you can see that it's still configuring and opening Java projects and downloading all the dependencies for it. So it takes a bit of time. But what you can see here is to go on the contract development, and then there's like compile and deploy. The compile and deploy is a contract where you specify a smart contract. In this case is fungible token.class, but then you can add any other smart contract, and I'll explain you in a bit. And then after that, you can deploy the contract, and we have like a default wallet, and you have like the full things for you, so you don't have to get concerned about that. So in this case, this is just like a helper, a support, let's say, program that programmatically you can compile and deploy. But then if you take a look here, there's a directory called contracts. If you open it, you see many, but ones that we are interested in is the call or Oracle contract. If you double click on it, you'll see that you have a smart contract where it's pretty basic. There's like basically three methods. The first method is request, meaning that a user will request oracles to fetch this URL, and then once oracles fetch this URL, the oracles will call a callback to persist the data. So that's exactly what is request method. So then oracles, once they fetch, they will call this callback, and basically it's nothing complicated. We just serialize the data and then persist the data into the storage of the smart contract. So that's it. And then afterwards, users will have to call this method called getResponse. which is just a read method, doesn't modify storage. And then basically we'll just go there, do a get on a key, on a particular key to get the response, and then deserialize that and then return to the user. So pretty simple. Okay, cool. Let's go to the compile and deploy. And here we're gonna change, instead of fungible token, we're gonna put call Oracle contract. Okay, good. Yeah, it already added the import here for us. That's amazing. Great. So, and then we can execute this. But before we execute, there is here an instance, an Neo3j instance, okay, which points to a Neo3j private net, like let's say, definition. So if you have to change this. So you press Command or Control if you're in Windows, and then click on it, and then you go to this variable definition, where here you see that uses a private net with a JSON RPC node in the local host. What we will do is that we're gonna go back to our private net, GitHub code spaces, and since we already made this public, just double click on it, copy the local address to get the endpoint for the new consensus or any other JSON RPC here, and then you're gonna go back here, okay, and you're gonna substitute, just copy and paste, and save it, okay. And then, because we need to use the private net pointing to the one that we just created. Okay, great. With that, we just go here and then press this button, run. And basically this will compile this call Oracle contract, and then it will deploy. Let's wait a bit. Done. Great. The script hash of the deploy contract. So we have a script hash. Let's just copy it because this will be useful for us. Okay, great. Okay, now basically you say, okay, I deploy the contract. So now, Gil, I want to make calls. I want to make a request to the oracles. Okay, so that's when you just collapse here the contract development and then open the contract invoke. And there's like two files. There's like Oracle make request and check response. Let's go to the make request first. Double click on it. And then basically we need to tell what kind of contract we want to interact with. So basically the new script hash. And then in this one, we will call this request method. And then as parameters, we have to set the URL that Oracle should fetch, the filter, what kind of data they need to fetch specifically, in the guess rate. So we just use something that we found in the internet, basically is a to-do app. So if you take a look here, it's an array of JSON of users. And then these users have like email, address, and like other parameters. We're not interested in these others. We are just interested on the email. So we have to instruct the oracles to fetch, but then go through each of the array elements and then just get the email attribute. That's exactly what we're specifying here. And then here, just to make sure that things are going to work, I'm just going to add 10 more just to for the gas fees. And yeah. Let's call it. But before calling, it's very important that we make sure that this the Neo3j instance is pointing to our private net. And then as you can see here, this is pointing to the testnet, to this static variable here, testnet. So let's change to our private net. Great. Just save it. Awesome. And then you can press call, run actually. And this will again call our private net running in this other environment in GitHub code spaces. So basically the transaction was successful already on the chain, and then yes, waiting until transactions persisted, and that's it. It's here. It was persisted. It means that now the Oracle network will need to go there, fetch the URL, parse it, and then just call the callback method, right? So great, Gil, it's awesome, but how do I check response? So that's why we have here another example, another class called Oracle check response. Just double click on it, and then basically also in this example we need to take the smart contract script hash and then add it here, the same one. And then here is very basic. We just call a method in this smart contract called get response, and then we just print the response, on on it, which should be all the email addresses from those elements. Great. It's important to notice here that also the Neo3j instance is pointing to the testnet. So this is not going to work. We need to go to the private net. And just to make sure, you can press command and then click on it. And then you'll make sure to where it's pointing. So it's pointing to our GitHub code spaces private net. Just let me close here. Great. Okay, Gil, let's run it. Then let's press here. Let's run. And the fingers crossed. And that's it. It worked. So as you can see here, the response was a bunch of user email addresses of all the users. So for example, the second one is shanamelissa.tv. Let's go there and take a look. Yeah, April, and here shanamelissa.tv, etc. So yeah, it worked. Yeah, that's it, guys. It's the basically we're developing code spaces, calling another code spaces that is running our private network. But let me give a bit of context on how to see things happening here in the private net Docker repo. So we can go to the terminal pane and then open a terminal here. And then basically, if you do a Docker PS, you will see the three containers running. Great. And then you can basically do attach to each of one to see the CLI. So let's first go to the new consensus. Oh, oops. Yes, the new consensus one. And then we are running three screens. So you just type this screen minus or -r to reattach. And then you are in the CLI of the consensus container. And then basically you have here like the blocks, generation of blocks, and what is the height. In a while, yeah, you have like 71 now got generated. Great. Okay, so if you want to get out from this screen here, you have to press Control A and then D, and then it deattach. The screen gets deattached, and then you get back to the terminal. You can go for in the client one, which is the first Oracle. And in here, you see that there's some log here with the data that we just request. So I enabled debug for the oracles. So here you see that it fetched the data, it crunched the data, built the response, and then persisted in the and sent the response in the transaction, etc., etc. So it works. You also can see the oracle status. It's running, which is great. And yeah, that's it. I'll just attach Control A and B. That's it. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed, and talk to you soon. Any questions, just join our Discord server in XLabs. So it's xlabs.com. You'll find a link there. Cheers. Take care.